Good morning, Jackie G. How are you? I'm so excited you're joining me live this morning. I wonder who else will show up. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to this edition of Coffee Chat. And I have a really delicious, yummy coffee right now. Robert, good morning. I'm so excited. Mary Lynn, hello. Megan, good morning. You guys, it's so great to be live with you. I love it. Okay, well, this is Coffee Chat with me, Catherine Oster. And if you are watching this in the future on YouTube or SoundCloud, I'm doing this as a Facebook Live, and sometimes I get a little distracted with all the people joining. So that is your disclaimer. Good morning, Unati from India. Good evening. Yes, it's evening for you. Jackie G's got her coffee too. All right. Well, this week, you guys, I wanted to chat with you more about entities. Beings without bodies, more about entities. And entity awareness is kind of where we're going to go today. If you guys have any questions or comments while I'm chatting along, you can go ahead and put them in. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about entity awareness for me and how that showed up, how it's showing up, and give you some more information about what that could be for you. Now, I used to think, last week I told a story about my grandpa and how he passed away. So if you wanted to go and check that out, you can find that somewhere on my Facebook page or YouTube channel or SoundCloud. Anyway, before that, when I started living my normal life, I kind of really shut off that awareness of entities. When I started learning more about entities, looking back when I was a kid, I could actually go back and acknowledge how I was aware of them. But I didn't really know it at the time because nobody tells you this stuff. And I was scared. I was scared as a kid. And now I'm asking to be scary, not scared. Anyway, that's another conversation. So I was never a person that was into woo-woo stuff, so to speak. And I wouldn't call this woo-woo stuff, actually. This is just awareness. Hi, Krista. How are you? Good morning. This is awareness. So, okay. Before I took any Access Consciousness classes, at the job that I had, I started getting this eye twitch. So this was probably around 2008, 2007. And my eye started twitching at my job. It would always do it when I was at work. I love it, Krista. Yeah, he'll be a little freaked out for a little bit. That's all good. He'll figure it out too. I love it. That's so good. Okay, this eye twitch started showing up for me. Now, this reality, the definition of an eye twitch means you're stressed out, you have anxiety, whatever, right? And I remember I could see my eye moving in the mirror, and I remember looking at that thinking, what the fuck is going on with me? And I'm like, am I stressed out? I didn't feel like I was stressed out, but this eye twitch. And then it would go away for a little bit, and then it would come up again, and it was so annoying. Now, fast forward my life to 2014 when I took my first foundation class, started discovering these tools of Access Consciousness and kind of dipping my toe into the Talk to the Entities curriculum. I was on a call with another facilitator and my eye twitch came up again. So it had been already going on for 5 years, off and on, a little bit randomly, but it was always there. And it came up when I was on the call. So I'm like, I'm going to ask a question about this eye twitch because it's driving me crazy. So the facilitator started asking me questions. she started asking me what I was aware of, and we asked my body what it was aware of. She asked Truth, is your body aware of entities? And I got like a big fat yes. It was undeniable. Lightness space, yes, my body is aware of entities. And I was like, holy wow, sweet Jesus, what the fuck does this even mean? What do I do with this, you know? And I read the book, Talk to the Entities, really, again, it got me more interested. And what I started to do then was clearing them. Clearing is one of the things you can do with entities. Oftentimes when people die, they sometimes don't even know that their body is dead. And they're still just kind of stuck, excuse me, in this space, stuck in limbo. They haven't transitioned yet. And they are just they don't even know what's going on, especially if there was any drugs and alcohol involved. And they're literally like, Shannon O'Hara she developed the Talk to the Entities curriculum within Access Consciousness. And she said, I don't remember when or how, but what the message that I got was, there's actually more entities around you than people. Like, they're just around all the time. Some people can see them, but I couldn't. But my body was aware of them. So every time that eye twitch came up, there was just a certain level of entity activity around me that I couldn't see, but my body was aware of. So what I started doing was running this entity clearing. And then the eye twitch started to go away. Like, it just kind of disappeared. And then it came up so loud, like a year ago. More than a year ago. So, hey, good morning, Lori. More than a year ago. So I had facilitated, August 2019, I facilitated a foundation class at my place. And there was a really great group of participants and gals. And so that was in August. And oftentimes I'll do like a follow-up Zoom after a foundation class with all the participants. So we didn't get around to having that Zoom until October, with harvest and everything and everybody's schedules. And so literally, I want to say like the middle of September, this eye twitch came back, like stronger than it had ever came back before. And I hadn't had it for so long, I kind of forgot about it. And I'm like, okay, I know this is something with entities. And I would just run the clearing. It wouldn't go away. It kept coming back. Like, really annoying. Run the entity clearing, nothing would happen. And I'm like, okay, I have some tools here. What else is required? And I was actually taking another Talk to the Entities class with Crystal Crawford online. And so in that class, I asked her a question. I'm like, my eye twitch is back. I'm clearing entities. It's not changing. It's driving me crazy again. Really getting my attention. And she's like, okay, so Truth, Catherine, do you require to communicate with this entity? And I'm like, is communication required? Something like that. And I'm like, yes, but I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? I can't talk to ghosts. I've never done that before. Oh my God, I was funny. I freaked out just a little bit because I didn't know what it was. And she's like, okay, well, let's just, in the class, she's just walked me through the process. So I got really present, energetically, expanded out, lowered any barriers that I had up to communicating with entities. And I'd read about this but I just never did it, right? So, and then we just, I asked the entity to come up to energetically present itself. And then I just asked to communicate with it. I just, in my head, I said, okay, tell me what information you are asking to give me. I will receive it now. And then, it was maybe like a minute of just being present. I could perceive the energy, but I didn't have words for it. And so Crystal Crawford, she asked me, she's like, well, did you get the download? Did you get the message? And I said, Truth, yes, I got the message, but I don't know what it is. It doesn't make any sense. And she's like, okay, well, do you require to know it right now? And I said, no, I don't require to know right now. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, now this is where you have to trust. You have to trust that you've received the message. Because when you go into doubt, doubt is a barrier. Doubt is thinking. You block the energy, you block the receiving. So then I had to trust that, yes, I could perceive the energetic download, but I did not have the words. And I'm like, okay, my eye twitch went away after that. And I'm like, Jesus, I don't even know what the communication was, but my eye twitch was gone again. So we were about a week out of this Zoom. And kind of a couple days before the Zoom, what I kept hearing in my head was, tell her to keep going. Something like that. Tell her to keep going. Tell her to keep going. Over and over in my head. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, is this for somebody? What is this? You know? And I didn't really get it, but I'm like, okay, I'm acknowledging the message I'm getting. Tell her to keep going. Okay. I don't know, whatever that is. So we're on the follow-up Zoom from the foundation class. And one of the ladies there, she started talking about how she was struggling with using the tools again. So we did the foundation class. She went home. She was like asking questions every day. She was using the tools and her life was getting greater. She was having more ease, joy, and glory. And then she just said, she didn't even know why she stopped, but she's like, I just quit. Like the last 3 weeks was hell for her, actually. She's like, I just fell off the train track. I'm not asking questions anymore. I'm feeling really frustrated. This doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, and then I got it. The message is for her. Oh my God, the message is for her. Tell her to keep going. And so I don't remember how I told her this, but I remember in the foundation class, we were talking about her brother. And she was feeling really lost from him, detached from him. And her brother showed up energetically in the class. And it was just clear. Like, we couldn't see him, but we all knew he was there. She knew he was there. I could sense him. And then I'm like, oh my God, it was her brother. Like, it all just kind of came together for me. Like, it was her brother who was getting my attention. And he gave me the download. And then when we're on the Zoom, like, I just knew it was time to say something and what it was. It all just became clear when it was required to be clear. And so I told her that. And she started crying and she was like, I will keep going. And so that's just, gosh, about a year ago. And what this woman has created since then, because she kept going, she received the message, she kept choosing it, was freaking huge. She's choosing and changing a lot. Trusting. And so I could have doubted all that information that I had gotten from the entity, from her brother. I could easily, and I did, I judged myself as crazy before. I judged myself as like, Catherine, you're just ridiculous. Like, stop being so dramatic. You don't talk to entities. It's like, yes, I do. And because I didn't put myself in the box of a medium person or a psychic. Like, I was just a normal person. But the truth is, I don't want to say we all have awareness of entities, but I want you to ask the question for yourself. Truth, are you aware of entities? Yeah. Truth, do you have capacities with entities and abilities? So it's like the entities know that, like they energetically know that you have this ability. So they're going to kind of flock to you. When you have the ability to clear them, they're going to start flocking to you. They're going to be around you. Entity awareness can show up as an eye twitch. It can show up as headaches, anxiety, depression, tiredness, body pain, brain fog, like so many different things. And so if you have something that's always coming up for you, one of those things that I listed, start asking yourself when that comes up, truth, is this entities? And if you get a yes, and if you've taken a foundation class, or you can get the Talk to the Entities book for like $30, or you can come, I'm going to be having entity classes, like there's so many coming up. You can come to a class and take an intro class. An intro Talk to the Entities class is $75. I have one coming up at Meadow Lake on Halloween weekend. Or look for a Talk to the Entities facilitator online. Like an intro class, you can do an intro class online with anybody. Start getting yourself some more information about this. Send me a message. I'll help you find some information. It's amazing what you can start, the ease you can start to have with being again, with living, when you start to acknowledge your awareness and these capacities. And it's simple. It's not hard. Now, that's the thing is, you have to trust. You can't see them. Engaging with entities invites you into a whole new level of being, perceiving, knowing, and receiving. Oh, Krista, here's my thing. I ask to be more aware, and then I do. And then I get freaked out and scared and say, okay, not now. I know there's nothing to be afraid of, and yet I still go to the automatic freak out. So annoying. Well, I know you've taken a foundation class, and I know that we've had that conversation about distractor implants. So like that fear wouldn't be a distractor implant distracting you from accessing greater power, would it? What if, okay, so, this is a thing. This is a quote that I read about being scared. So what if being scared starts to happen when you are starting to be scary, but you're resisting it? And I know, Krista, you said you were being more, yeah. So what if scared is your resistance to being that little more scary? Are you willing to keep going? Anyway, okay, that's my coffee chat for today. Next week, we'll talk more about entities on Friday morning again. Wishing you guys, thank you so much for joining me live. And if you got anything out of this video and you want to share it, please do. I would be so grateful. Have an amazing rest of your day, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're up to. I wonder how much fun you can have today. Bye-bye for now. You're so welcome, Michelle.